one can say game developers don't have a sense of humour. Why, just consider such great video game jokes as CD Projekt Red saying they were releasing Cyberpunk 2077 on 97,000 floppy disks, or that fake Lord of the Rings Gollum game from last year.
Not the rest, precious, not them. Smash it. Smash it, swallow it whole.
Man, that took me out. Very funny stuff.
I think that was a real game.
Sure. Yeah, nice try. Sometimes this impulse for jokery extends to the content of the game itself, with developers adding joke levels to their games that are often funny, frequently bizarre, and sometimes bordering on terrifying. Watch on for the 7 weirdest joke levels that no one was expecting, least of all us, and watch out for spoilers ahead for these following games.
Retro-styled shooter Ultra Kill is a game in which you mostly kill people with guns in spectacularly bloody fashion. So you'd probably expect its secret hidden levels to be more of the same, right? Wrong, because Ultra Kill's secret levels are utterly bonkers and have very little to do with shooting things at all, from the one where you're being chased by a massive stick insect, to the one that is a pitch-perfect tribute to Jonathan Blow's puzzle game The Witness. Weirdest of all the joke levels in Ultra Kill, however, has to be the one called All-Imperfect Love Song, which is accessed through the level Sheer Heart Attack, in which it quickly becomes apparent that this hyper-stylized ultra-violent shooter is now a dating sim. So now, instead of blowing away enemies and parkouring across the rooftops, you're attempting to woo a tsundere robot in a school uniform called Mirage, who will repeatedly tell you to f*** off if you pick the wrong dialogue choices. If you were worried that this was all going to be a bit wholesome and cheery, however, don't be, because it's not long before Mirage switches to existential dread and goes on a long, depressing rant about the futility of human endeavour. And then you go for lunch together. Man, I wonder how many hit points I'm going to lose from all this tonal whiplash.
Get that food in my belly.
If you played Resident Evil 7, then wacky probably isn't a word you associate with it. Whacking, maybe, like Jack Baker whacking you with an axe. Which is why anyone who played through Resident Evil 7 and felt the terror of being hunted by the deranged Baker family might have been confused by the jokey DLC mission, Jack's 55th birthday.
Getting pretty full. Woo! I don't think I can eat anymore.
In this extremely weird comedy extra level, Jack Baker, yes, the same Jack Baker who in the main game goes all on fire and tries to kill you in a car,
Oh boy! Now look what you've done, motherfucker!
is celebrating another trip around the sun, and it's up to you to keep him full of cheese fondue and spiced chicken and other foods which clearly don't agree with him. Come on, Jack, I guarantee it's better than the stuff you usually eat. Safe to say, the bloodthirsty, moulded enemies in the main game never wore novelty hats either, and I personally don't recall the guns firing confetti, but then I did play most of the game with my eyes closed, so who's to say?
taking so long?
Hey, at least all the wackiness makes the game less terrifying, right? Nope, still scary as It's impressive in a way.
Apart from both being genre-defining classics, Wolfenstein 3D and Pac-Man don't appear to have much in common. One is a top-down arcade game in which you gobble up dots and avoid ghosts. While the other is a first-person shooter in which you gun down Nazis and avoid Hitler. So yeah, pretty different. One place they're closer than you'd think, however, is in the secret Wolfenstein 3D level known as Wolf Pack, in which your gun-toting Nazi hunter BJ Blazkowicz finds himself in the maze from Pac-Man, avoiding some familiar-looking ghosts. Being in first person instead of third person gives you some idea as to what Pac-Man went through on his adventures, as you sprint through the corridors of the level, collecting chalices instead of dots, and extra lives instead of power pills. The ghosts home in on your position as soon as the level starts and are invincible, so it doesn't matter how much firepower you have, you're still at a disadvantage. Oh, and just to up the challenge a little, there are a few Nazis wandering around the level for good measure. There's even a Wolfenstein-y version of the Pac-Man music playing as you make your way around the level, which is a nice touch. A little weird that the Pac-Man ghosts sided with the Nazis, but that's canon now, I guess.
Let me introduce you to my little friend. At last, an opponent worthy of my skills.
Future Cop LAPD is a 1998 PlayStation game made by people who watched RoboCop and thought Ed 209 was the good guy. In it, you take control of a bipedal tank armed with a minigun, Hellfire missiles, and a mortar launcher, and then take to the streets of future Los Angeles to undertake policing tasks like crowd control.
Crowd control situation.
By dumping as much artillery as possible into everything unlucky enough to wander into range.
Ruthie, the exit is clear.
Mostly it's gunning down crime lords and violent criminals from inside your impervious, heavily armoured shell. But what happens when all the criminals are dead? What then? Well, the answer to that, according to Future Cop LAPD's secret joke level bug hunt, is we turn our attention to LA's insects.
I'll see you in hell.
Now, I don't know if any of these creatures has broken the law per se, but this level is packed with worms, butterflies, bats, and dragonflies, all of whom are trying to kill you, and all of whom you're going to be firing Hellfire missiles at while an upbeat version of Flight of the Bumblebee plays in the background. Then you finally face off against the level's boss, a dragonfly. Complete the level and the bugs all put on a parade for you, which has me wondering, is there enough oxygen getting to the inside of that mech? Maybe check the filters, I would.
Lots of the joke levels on this list are designed to be funny or to weird you out, but this is the only one whose express purpose is to crash your game. That level is in Rise of the Triad, a PC shooter from the mid-90s. Among its many other innovations were enemies who pretended to die. And it also had a mode where you could turn into a dog. Maybe its most dastardly innovation, however, was the joke level called This Causes an Error, which, I mean, it's not lying. The mission is deceptively simple at first. A closed room with 4 static walls and a 5th wall moving horizontally through the others. After the moving wall has passed through all the other walls, it will disappear off the map, which causes the game to crash, and you get this bizarre hand-drawn error message. Before the game boots you back to DOS with an error message telling you that a push wall tried to escape off the map. And that's it. That's the whole level. Thanks for playing, I guess.
What happened?
We responded to a distress call from an Atrexian space station.
Atrexian?
A starfaring people with 12 systems and 23 colony planets in the Brecker Rift.
We found the Atrexian station under assault by unknown aliens.
We saw no alien ship, so we took a low orbit near the station. That was our mistake.
If I asked someone to imagine a Star Trek game, they might well imagine something like Star Trek Elite Force 2, or just ask me to order my sandwich or step out of line so they can serve the other customers. That's because Star Trek Elite Force 2 is a first-person shooter in which you play as a member of a Starfleet hazard team using various sci-fi weapons to eliminate threats, hacking things with your science tools, and scanning space stuff with your tricorder.
The shuttle is going critical. Please. That was close.
So very much what you might be expecting. What you might not be expecting is the joke level you find in level 4 of the game when you blow open a door and enter the silver pipe. Now, instead of a first-person shooter, the game becomes a side-scrolling platform game in the Mario Brothers mold, with your character, Starfleet Lieutenant Alexander Monroe, bouncing and leaping his way through an obstacle course in what looks like a space-themed warehouse. I don't know what Starfleet directive covers copyright, but I'm pretty sure we're in violation right now. Finish the level, or fall off and die, and you'll return to the main game back in first person. Where that little episode will go unremarked upon by your stoic protagonist. Probably because he doesn't want everyone thinking he's got space madness.
Speaking of Mario, one of the reasons Mario games work so well is that the levels are designed for Mario, rather than a mute Starfleet officer with a 12-foot vertical leap. Someone else they're not designed for is Bowser, Mario's perpetual nemesis, the scaly Moriarty to his mustachioed Holmes, the beleaguered Drake to Mario's Kendrick Lamar. And yet, if you want to see exactly how Bowser would handle some Mario-style platforming, you can, thanks to several joke levels in the 2004 RPG Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. In these Bowser intermissions, you take control of the rage-filled turtle himself, and stomp your way through missions that Mario would normally elegantly jump his way through. Along the way, you'll pick up power-ups which make Bowser bigger, although he's already pretty huge. That means you're taking up half the screen and literally smashing your way through obstacles. Including the end of level flag. Okay, he's destructive on land, you might be thinking, but surely he's at a disadvantage on a water level. Ah, but his fire breath must not work underwater. Oh. Okay, fire breath works underwater. Good to know. All in all, these Bowser intermissions are a good way to figure out what Mario games would be like if you were playing as Bowser instead of Mario. Really effing easy is the answer. So now we know.
I'm hearing now that the fake Lord of the Rings Gollum game was actually a real game, and this clearly warrants further investigation, so I'm off to do my homework, and you're off, hopefully, to watch another Outside Xbox video up here, or an Outside Extra video from our good friend Ellen over on Outside Extra. And thank you so much for supporting us, watching our videos. We appreciate you so very much. You can show your appreciation, if you like, you don't have to, at patreon.com/oxclub, where we've got the OX Supporters Club with a Discord and all that kind of good stuff. See you next time.